Welcome to the Girl Boss Method podcast. So for tonight's call, we are joined by one of the girls that's on the program or inside the program. Her name is Rebecca. Rebecca has actually just recently shared a testimonial with us as well. So you'll see that if you're keeping an eye on the Instagram socials as well. So for tonight's episode, we're going to talk about pre and post workout meals. So this was a topic suggestion from inside the check-ins. So the ladies do check-ins every week, and it's another opportunity for us to look at their progress with a weekly overview, and then also address any sort of topics in more detail, etc. So with pre and post workout meals, again, there can be a bit of like confusion around it. And I think a lot of the time people think that, pre-workout, they'll have a banana, and post-workout, they need to have like some sort of protein shake. That's not always the case. And I think it's important to just look at your nutrition overall, not just for pre and post-workout, but looking at it overall throughout or over the course of a day and seeing what that's like. So the importance of having a pre-workout meal or a snack is crucial for optimizing performance, preventing fatigue, supporting muscle growth and recovery, and ensuring that your body has the energy and nutrients that it needs to perform its best during the exercise. So if we go into a little bit more detail, so with the energy, it's going to give you carbohydrates in particular, and they are the body's primary source of energy. So having a meal containing some carbs before a workout can be quite good to ensure that your muscles have adequate supply of like glycogen, for example. And when it comes to, we talked about fasted workouts actually last week, or even fasted cardio, but it's really important to think about actually fueling your workout. So some of you might work out very early in the morning, and if you haven't had a late meal the night before, you're going to be quite depleted already, and then you're asking your body to push out energy or perform during this workout. So ideally you want to perform a workout optimally. You can't do it if the tank is empty or dry, right? So if you are having late meals or late feedings, then sometimes it can work. But ideally, if you are working early in the morning, you really do need to focus on getting something in your tummy. Just get something that's going to help you. Although you might feel fine before the workout, might be worth having some energy that's going to help see you through it. So obviously, eating a balanced pre-workout meal can provide your workout with performance by increasing endurance, strength, and overall efficiency. So when your body has sufficient energy reserves, you're able to push harder and sustain exercise for longer durations. That is so important. What is the point of doing exercise and not doing it and like working your hardest or trying your best and working at the level that your body should be able to like deal with or cope at? Now, obviously, there are times of the month, different periods of the week or the working week that might obviously make that harder. And look, fatigue and stuff and just being worn out, like you're going to have a very different type of workout. But the main point here is to just ensure that you are fueling yourself. So another thing that we might want to talk about is like the protein as well before a workout. That can help minimize any muscle breakdown during the exercise. So protein is going to provide you with amino acids necessary for muscle repair and growth, which becomes especially important during intense or prolonged exercise. In addition, hydration. So again, even with pre-workout foods such as like fruits and vegetables, they're going to have a high water content. They're going to help contribute to your hydration levels before exercise as well. And overall, if it is first thing in the morning, make sure you are properly hydrated, because if you are not hydrated, you're going to have things like, poor performance, and you might also have some fatigue during that, and then also some muscle cramping as well. Engaging in exercise on an empty stomach can cause or lead to hypoglycemia. So this is low blood sugar levels, right? So you might have experienced this previously. If you've ever, you've had a really long day at work, you had lunch at 12 o'clock. And Rebecca, I know this speaks to you because you're a teacher, and then you get home, you rush home, and it's get your workout gear on, and maybe you've had some water, and you just go straight into the gym, and you forget that actually the workout that you've got scheduled for yourself is like a body pump class, and therefore you might start feeling some effects during that. So again, if you are going to experience that drop in blood sugar levels, that's going to cause that dizziness, the weakness, and again, impaired cognitive function. So eating that pre-workout meal is going to help stabilize your blood sugar levels and prevent these adverse effects. It's going to help promote recovery as well. So actually having nutrients before your workout helps obviously prime your workout, but it primes your recovery for afterwards as well, because you're providing your muscles with necessary nutrients, and you can jumpstart that recovery process and minimize that post-exercise soreness and fatigue. So again, just making sure, I guess it's like an art really, that with time you start to really learn how to fuel your body, whether that's before the workout or after. You start to really work out, do you know what, I need a meal in right now because I am about to train. And yeah, just having that recovery as well is just so important. So finally, on this sort of side, it's we're providing nutrient delivery as well. So a pre-workout ensures that the essential nutrients and oxygen are delivered to your muscles efficiently during exercise. So this, again, I'm repeating a lot of this, but it's going to enhance that muscle function and overall performance to get you the most out of your workout session. Because ideally, when we are thinking about, let's say, building muscle or maintaining or retaining lean muscle mass, we might be doing things like body pump or even gym workouts, muscle building workouts. And it's just important to make sure that you're able to perform at them properly, because especially when we think about muscle growth and we think about progressive overload, how can you get better at an activity or an exercise or get stronger if you're not able to push yourself because you're literally not fueling yourself adequately? So it's really important. So I have actually got a list of pre-workout ideas. So you could have a quick smoothie. Again, you don't want anything too heavy, if I'm honest. So perhaps maybe you can make that protein smoothie and have half before or half after. You could put some fruits in there, some spinach, protein powder, almond milk. And again, that's just a really quick way of getting some energy in. And one of the things that I do personally, if I know that there's been a bit of a gap since my last meal and before I'm about to train, and just because the timing's off and stuff, I will literally have maybe, half a serving of protein powder with some water or something, and I'll just snack that, and it will be like, right, good, I'm good to go. And then I know that I've got a meal ready for when I get home as well. You've got whole grain toast with peanut butter. So again, with this, you're going to get some complex carbs, some protein for sustained energy during the workout. We've got Greek yogurt with berries. So again, Greek yogurt is high in protein, and berries offer that antioxidants and quick energy. So for those of you that are vegan, another thing that you can do is use the Alpro vegan Greek yogurt. It might not have as much protein, but it will still have some in there. And I think that's just a really nice snack as well, just to kind of have like yogurt with so yogurt with a bit of protein and some fruit and stuff. So as you know, guys, I always mess around with the toolbar at the bottom when I'm clicking on these slides. So bear with me. Again, for those of you that are inside the program, you've got the ability to watch the trainings, and this is obviously accessible via our app as well. Okay. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, you just have my voice. Other options, we've got energy bars. So again, we've got like those protein bars and stuff. And again, if I'm honest, you don't want to rely on these as your only source of fuel or like a regular fuel. I would say that the energy bars are almost like a last minute thing, you know. They are packed with a lot of calories and you know, they can be quite high in sugars and stuff, which is fine. Sugar is totally fine, but they could just be quite heavy. So if you are going to have one, sometimes I find personally that like half an energy bar or half a protein bar works just as well for me in terms of making sure that I've got some fuel. Again, some other lovely options here for pre-workouts. Banana with almond butter, that might be quite nice first thing in the morning, just something really light to have. Oatmeal, so porridge, if you like, that's definitely one of my favorites. I did work out quite early this morning, I'd say, and yeah, I needed some fuel for that session because I did legs this morning. So I had some porridge or protes. I had some oatmeal with some protein powder, and I had some blueberries with that. So yeah, really good options here. Okay, before we move on to post workout meals or snacks, I'm going to open the floor up for Rebecca and see if there's anything that I've missed in terms of pre-workout meals or snacks, or anything that she's found that has been really helpful with making sure that she's got that energy in before her workouts.
Hi. Yeah, so what was interesting for me was seeing the peanut butter inclusion. I don't know why I had it in my mind that peanut butter wasn't exceptionally good for you because of the word butter. So I love peanut butter, so it was good to see that as something that I could incorporate before a workout. The one thing that I massively agree with is not eating something too heavy, because that can make you feel quite like lethargic when you enter the gym and you start your training. So the smoothie idea sounded perfect to me. My question to you was, how like long in advance should you be consuming this before your workout? Is it sort of, can you eat this half an hour before, 10 minutes before? What would you say your ideal timing would be to consuming these great ideas before you start training?
Okay, so this is definitely down to tolerance and listening to your body, because everyone's going to have an individual feeling when it comes to this. And I know that when I was a lot younger, I would need to have a larger gap, but then all of a sudden I'd start feeling that very low blood sugar levels. And it's taken time, but I think it also depends on the type of workout or activity that I'm going to be doing. So let's say, for example, I'm going to go to the gym and I know that I'm doing more upper body and arms, for example. I might actually be okay to have a little bit of fuel or some food or one of those little small snack options, even 15 minutes beforehand. Yeah. So I know that sounds crazy, but that might be okay. Whereas if I know that I'm going to go and do a reformer class, for example, I don't know if you've tried reformer, Rebecca.
Once, brilliant. Yeah, very good, very good.
Amazing. Yeah. And actually, you know what? For those of you listening that are on the Girl Boss Method as well, that is going to be one of our meetups later this year. I really, really want it to happen, but I want it to happen at some point this year, that we make one of our meetups a reformer class, because I'm qualified reformer teacher. So that would just be so much fun. But with reformer, as you know, Rebecca, you're lying down. And even if you're not doing any heavy work, even just doing something like the abdominal section or, you know, pushing against the bar can feel quite nauseating. So you obviously want to make sure that you're not going in. So I would probably leave like an hour before then.
Okay.
And even with, I don't know if you've seen that with the advice for yoga, they tend to advise 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
So
makes sense.
definitely play it by ear. Again, I think depending on the heaviness of the food or the snack you're going to have, you might be fine with 45 minutes to half an hour. And you're going to laugh at this one, but I definitely made that mistake last week. I went and did my first gymnastics class in like donkey's years, and there was a lot of jumping and stuff going around, and I needed to get a meal in, and I kid you not, Rebecca, I think I had something like a seitan steak thing. It's like a vegan mock meat thing with like potatoes and broccoli and a portobello mushroom. And it was about 45 minutes before the class started. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh my God, don't be sick. I was okay, but I was very aware at how heavy that felt.
Yeah, I can relate to that. The other question I just wanted to throw out there was, would you differentiate between the type of thing you're consuming depending on whether you're doing more of a cardio based activity as opposed to like a weights session? Is there a difference in what you would have, or not really?
I would say that on either side, protein is still very, very important. So although you might automatically think, oh, working weights, muscles, I need protein. Well, actually, when you are doing cardio exercise, you are utilizing muscle protein stores as well.
Right.
So it's really important. My best advice here would ideally be to focus on the carbohydrates and the protein. Meals just in generally in terms of meals around workouts. So whether that's pre-workout or post-workout. And it's really good. I love that you've mentioned this, because it is something I'd forgotten to add to this training. So it's always good having special inside guests like yourself joining me. So yeah, we get like more brains on the subject in real time. So yeah, definitely. And look, fats are so important to hormonal health and everything, but they can kind of be reserved for the other parts of the day. But ideally, you want to make sure that you've got a little bit of carbs and protein. And that's why having like oats with protein powder is like such a nice little hack. So I literally, if I feel like I'm not hungry, but I'm going to train and I'm like, I don't want to feel shit in this training session, I will literally do like 10 grams of protein, 10 grams of oats, mix it up with some water, and, obviously cook it or whatever not. But it's just such a small little hit. It's just something to get into me, some energy.
I love that idea. I definitely want to give that a go for sure.
Yeah. And that's it. Nutrition is all about keeping things simple and not over complicating things, which I'm sure that you are starting to learn though as well.
Yes, it's been a very insightful, inspiring journey so far, and I'm enjoying the journey.
I love that. Brilliant. Okay. So we're going to move on now to the post-workout meals or snacks. Okay. So overall, it's essential for promoting muscle recovery, replenishing your energy stores, reducing that muscle soreness, supporting your hydration, your electrolyte balance, optimizing protein synthesis, preventing muscle breakdown, and enhancing overall recovery and adaptation to exercise. The key word there, adaptation. We need to be adapting or have the fuel to take on board the adaptations that are going to happen as a result of training. So whether that's improving your your muscle your muscle strength or your cardio output, whatever it is, it's really important that we are able to adapt and take on that change and get better at it, right? If I can say that more uncomplicated, I don't know. Anyway, so ideally, yes, after workouts, balance of protein, carbs, and hydration as well is going to be super important. And as usual, I always keep flicking back, but we're all good. Okay, so muscle recovery. So obviously your muscles need to repair and rebuild themselves, because we are causing like micro trauma, if you like, especially when we are like lifting weights. So having protein is going to help you is going to help provide the necessary amino acids to support that muscle recovery and growth. So protein synthesis, so it's like the utilization of that protein is going to be elevated after exercise. So it's going to be an optimal time for us to consume that protein rich food to facilitate the process. Yeah. And replenishing glycogen restores as well. So during exercise, your body is going to use up the stores. Yeah. And so consuming carbs, for example, is going to help replenish that glycogen store, restoring energy levels, promote faster recovery. And this is particularly important if you are doing endurance or high intensity exercise. Right, moving backwards before we move forwards. So again, eating post-workout meals containing anti-inflammatory nutrients can help reduce that muscle soreness and inflammation. So again, we want to think about, and I love promoting this, but our fruits and our vegetables, and they're going to help combat that oxidative stress induced by exercise and help support that recovery. So protein is so important. Getting those carbs in is important, but also thinking about our fruits and veggies. Hydration. So again, yes, it's really important to make sure that you are having enough fluid and rehydrating yourselves. And it's so interesting because Rebecca, you and I have had this conversation. You absolutely love water. So do I. It just increases, right, when it gets to the summer as well. Just so much water. I love it. But it's so interesting that when you talk to people out there, they'll kind of tell you they don't really drink much water. And then especially with things like exercise, if you're not well hydrated, you're going to suffer with things like headaches and again, like muscle cramps. And yeah, your recovery is going to be shit, basically.
Can I make a little suggestion?
Yeah.
So what I find really helps after a workout is coconut water. I don't know how you feel about that, but there's just something about coconut water which just feels so hydrating, especially after a Bikram yoga session. I just feel like I'm putting a bit more back into my body once I've done that workout with coconut water.
I'm down with that. I'm down for that for sure, definitely. And yeah, that's coconut water is really nice, a really nice way because you've got the electrolytes there as well, but it's just a really nice thirst quenching drink, isn't it? It's lovely. And actually I love that when you have like a nice cold coconut water as well. So yeah, down for that for sure. And again, for those of you that don't like drinking water, then it might be an option. There are many other ways of trying to increase your fluid intake. So consuming protein after a workout is going to stimulate that muscle protein synthesis. And that's the process by which new muscle tissue is built or even repaired. So again, having it with carbs is going to help increase that insulin levels, which are going to help promote nutrient uptake by the muscles. So insulin is not a demon and it's not bad. It is the natural response to having food. So after eating, your insulin rises and then that comes into the bloodstream and it helps disperse all the nutrients and it sends them or allows the cells, and especially in this case the muscle cells, to kind of take up that nutrition as well. So preventing muscle breakdown. So we talked a little bit about this, especially with regards to cardio. You want to make sure that, yeah, I mean, regardless, when you're working out, if you are not refueling yourself, you are going to be breaking down your muscle tissue for energy, and you want to spare and preserve that lean muscle mass. So it's really important that we bring back into the body the carbs and the protein as well to help that muscle protein breakdown. Now, this is really interesting because a while back so as you all know, I mainly work with women now with the Girl Boss method. all about elevating us females. But I have also in my time worked with men, and I had a client come to me, I think probably working with him about 2 years ago, and he really wanted to like drop the body fat and increase his muscle mass. And he was just a real, advocate or just obsessed with intermittent fasting. And he had this thing where in the morning, he would wake up at 5 a.m. and he'd go to the gym to go and train with one of his friends who was like a beast, apparently. And they'd go in and they'd do the weights and stuff. And he'd come out of that session and just have a coffee. Like, I think it was a latte from Pret, and that was it. And that was in his mind, he would then fast until 12 o'clock. But what he didn't realize was all he was doing was consuming other calories. So he wasn't really truly fasting, but he was not fueling his muscles to deal with the load that he's going to be encountering in this session. And he's also not allowing sufficient or the right nutrients to help him recover and really reap the benefits of that workout. So it did take some time, but we had to get him out of that and let him understand how overall nutrients or calories or your diet or your energy intake, whatever stage you are on that journey, overall nutrition for the day is so important. So even when we are trying to drop body fat and we are trying to preserve or even increase lean muscle mass, it's so important that at the times where your body is desperate for those nutrients, you are fueling them. So just sort of a little touch there, basically, that look, intermittent fasting, it's got its place. Some people love it, they enjoy it because it works for them. But just to remember that, it's not going to serve you a purpose if you are trying to intermittent fast and then shove a workout within that. Ideally, have your workout at 4 p.m. if you want to intermittent fast. Okay, right. So again, yes, enhances recovery and adaptation. So provides your body with the necessary nutrients after a workout, enhances recovery and adaptation to exercise stress, because it's stress that we're putting on our bodies, on our muscles. So this is going to allow you to recover faster, adapt to training stimuli, and make progress towards your fitness goals, because that's what it's all about. So having a look at some post-workout ideas. Okay, these are just some very random meals. Okay, and I know you're probably looking for something very specialized here, but again, let's say that you go straight for the protein shake. You don't necessarily have to have protein after a workout, but it can be a way of getting a quick hit in, especially if you know that you've got quite a travel home. The research says you want to allow, an hour window to get that protein in. That's not always possible. And there are many bodybuilders that I've encountered in the past that have actually let that stretch a lot longer. Their physiques do not show any difference with having that meal or waiting for their meal, having a shower first, getting ready, getting home, getting ready, preparing that meal, and then having that meal. So the idea is just to ensure that after your workout, you don't ignore the fact that you need to get a meal in. And I know from experience, I've encountered this in the past where I felt really crap after, and I've actually felt that dip in blood glucose levels. I felt that energy and that fatigue and that cramp and that dizziness because I have actually forgotten to have something after my workout. So if I know that I'm out later and maybe I'm going out I've got to get somewhere because I don't know, we've booked the cinema. Okay, I'm just thinking of anything random. We've got the cinema, and the cinema's at like 8 p.m. start, and going to the gym and getting out the gym, rushing home, getting a shower, getting ready, getting in the car, and then you get to the cinema and you go, shit, I didn't have anything after my food. This is why I'm feeling crap. So it's really important that we also think about planning as well. I know it's nice to eat on the go, but actually thinking about that pre-planning, and Rebecca and I have talked about this recently as well for her goals as well. But that pre-planning can help set you up to know what you're going to do. And look, if you are somebody that is going out for a big meal later on, get a protein shake in. Just get a protein shake in after your workout. Make sure you've ticked that box, and then you can go and enjoy the rest of your meal out with your friends or whatever. Yeah. Coming back to ideas, we've got grilled chicken salad. So again, we've got the salad and some vegetables. We've got like a tempeh veggie bowl. This is something that I might personally do with some vegetables and some beans. And I might add some potatoes in there, or even some rice. So just thinking about more of a wholesome meal here. And here we've got salmon and sweet potato. So again, we've got those anti-inflammatory properties. We've got the carbs. We've got replenishing the glycogen stores, tuna wrap as well. So again, this for my vegans could be like a tofu salad wrap or something. You've got the whole grain tortilla there, some veggies, again, convenient workout meal. One of the things that I like to do, and I did speak about this on one of the other podcasts previously, because one of the girls actually said she really liked the fact that I did that. She said to me, do you really prep your vegetables? I was just imagining you prepping your vegetables for days in advance. If I've gone to Tesco's or something and I've gone and bought a packet of, I don't know, like the other day I bought courgettes or like peppers or something, I will just wash them, I'll chop them up, I'll stick them in a tub, and I'll put them in the fridge, and they're just ready to go. So I think sometimes the ball ache, if you like, with adding vegetables sometimes to, you know, you're a busy lady, you're a busy woman, and you've got work going on, and you've got to get your workout in, and you've got socializing to do and extra work and all sorts of things going on. Try and create a little bit of convenience where you can. Sunday comes, do your meal prep, buy your veggies, buy your fruit, wash it all, chop it all, stick it in boxes, stick it in the fridge. You know that then when it comes to having your evening meal, you just go, right, there's my protein source, there's some carbs, and you know what, I've just ticked off the veggies box as well. So it just helps. And then yes, we've got cottage cheese with fruit. So again, protein with the fruit. Again, another quick snack if you're not really a fan, or you don't really want to have a protein shake, because sometimes actually just having real food just feels better in terms of, you know, mouthfeel, etc. as well. Food is to be enjoyed. So general tips overall. Pre and post workout, you want to stay hydrated. Drink water throughout the day, especially before, during, and after your workouts. Listen to your body. And I think this is really important, because we're all going to have a different experience in terms of how, you know, like digestive rates and stuff as well, digestion rates and stuff as well, like how quickly we are going to be able to, you know, take on that food, take on those nutrients and actually utilize them. Like, again, don't go and have a roast dinner before you go and do gymnastics, etc. Okay, just think about things. And I tell you what's interesting, again, I'm drawing on memory here again, but I remember a few years back when I was doing like some weightlifting stuff, so like some of the like clean press and all of that sort of stuff, clean and jerk, gosh, I can't even remember. We are going back about 9-10 years ago, and I remember I was being a subject for one of my friends, and she had to do this protocol with me where we needed to train together, and she had to do very specific work with me, and it was for her dissertation module, basically for her master's. And I remember at the time going, oh my God, we're training so early, like I can't eat before I work out. And she was like, no, you need to make sure, because I was used to training later in the day. So in my previous life, when I was coaching in-person gymnastics, we used to start at like 4 p.m. So my workouts would be around lunchtime. So I would always have breakfast and stuff. And this was like the first time where I had to like try and get something in. And she was like, no, you need to get something in before you go. So it would be like, get some oats in, and then, you know, get some porridge in, and then just get out and go do the session. And I guess you could say that's probably where I got that little idea from. Maybe, I don't know. Plan ahead. We talked about planning. Make sure you know what you're going to have in advance, have things readily available during your busy days. Variety, again, variety is good, but variety of foods, and I'm not talking about variety of recipes where you're going to spend days, hours, and weeks constantly making up recipes. Just keep food simple and have variety. So I love doing what you could call these days like a Buddha bowl, where I would just get a bowl out and I'd have like a bit of protein, some of those veggies, some of those carbs, maybe take some fats off there. And that's the kind of way that I eat. And then I like to put different things depending on what I've got available in the fridge. Like, oh, I'll have a bit of that and I'll have a bit of this. You know, one day it might be like black beans as a little side section, or it might be like some hummus or something. So again, yeah, that's what I mean by variety, not like, oh, I've got to go and whip up some amazing different meals. You're just going to make stuff harder. And don't skip meals. So even when you are busy, as I've said, like I've done, like I'm sure we've all done, we've skipped it, and it's not because we've done it on purpose, but it's literally because you've just been so hectic that it's just kind of left you. And the most important thing here is ideas are great, but most importantly, you need to eat meals that you enjoy. So ideas are great, but you are never going to eat or have the same palate as the next person. Like you might well do, but Rebecca, you and I'm sure we've got very different palettes when it comes to food. So again,
yes. I can't stand olives. Like olives, I just can't do them. I don't know how people
love them.
In their mouth.
I love olives, but you're not a fan.
No, and I never will be.
Fair enough. I'm sure there's a backstory with that as well.
I just the smell of them, everything, and I see people popping them in their mouths when they have them at restaurants, and I'm just like, no, I can't deal. So you're right, everybody has got different taste buds and enjoys different types of food. So it's about finding what's right for you and what hits that spot.
Of course, exactly that. Thank you, Rebecca, so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
On the Girl Boss Method podcast. And if you have just stumbled across this podcast and you'd like to reach out and send me a message, you can find me on Instagram at Richu Brar. That's spelled RICHUBRAR. And we'll see you here next time.